It began with an outrageous demand. HOA Karen had somehow convinced herself that my disabled daughter should face a 10-year prison sentence over a minor infraction on our property. The accusation was absurd, cruel, and entirely outside the bounds of law, but to Karen, who thrived on intimidation, it was a game of power and control. I felt a mixture of anger, disbelief, and resolve as I read her latest email, filled with threats and bureaucratic jargon. My first thought was protection. My daughter, young, disabled, and entirely innocent, had done nothing wrong. Karen's obsession with control had crossed a line. But anger alone would not suffice. This situation required careful planning, precise action, and the application of authority in a way that Karen could never imagine. The irony, of course, was that I was a senior judge with decades of experience in the legal system. Every threat she issued, every claim she made, only strengthened my resolve to respond strategically. I calmly gathered all relevant documentation, proof of my daughter's innocence, evidence of HOA overreach, and legal precedents showing that Karen's demands were baseless and illegal. Next, I initiated a formal legal response. Every claim Karen had made was addressed in meticulous detail, with citations to statutes, case law, and procedural rules. I also ensured that her harassment was formally documented, creating an extensive paper trail that could be used in any future disputes. Karen, of course, had no idea that her threats were essentially self-incriminating. As the legal process unfolded, Karen's behavior became increasingly erratic. She attempted to pressure neighbors, involve law enforcement, and rally the HOA board to her side. But each move she made was anticipated and countered with precision. Court filings, documented communications, and evidence of overreach turned her own actions into proof of misconduct. The most satisfying moment came during a hearing. Karen arrived, documents in hand, ready to assert her authority and demand punishment. I remained calm, presenting facts, legal arguments, and an airtight case proving her claims were unfounded. The judge presiding over the matter, aware of my status and experience, reviewed the evidence and immediately dismissed the HOA's baseless claims. Karen's face, once full of confidence, contorted in shock, disbelief, and fury. Her threats had crumbled under the weight of law and preparation. In the aftermath, the HOA was formally warned against further harassment. Karen's reputation suffered, as the community became aware of her increasingly reckless attempts to manipulate, intimidate, and control. My daughter, safe and vindicated, returned to her normal life, her innocence and dignity preserved. The lesson was clear. Arrogance, entitlement, and overreach have consequences, especially when confronted by knowledge, preparation, and authority. Karen's obsession with power had blinded her to the realities of law, evidence, and accountability. Her threats, designed to intimidate, only highlighted her ignorance and impulsiveness. By the end of the ordeal, not only was my daughter safe, but Karen's influence had been further diminished. The HOA's attempts to assert control over my family had backfired spectacularly, reinforcing a truth that had become increasingly apparent over the years. When power is misused and arrogance guides action, even the most overbearing aggressor will eventually be humbled by preparation, strategy, and the unwavering application of justice. The neighborhood, once intimidated by her antics, quietly acknowledged the outcome. Karen had attempted to manipulate the system to punish innocence, but the combination of authority, preparation, and legal knowledge ensured that justice prevailed. From that day forward, every interaction with Karen carried a silent warning. Overreach and cruelty meet consequences far beyond imagination when confronted with knowledge and resolve.